turning back.
Lost
Welcome.
Boy Scouts podcast.
Welcome back to the Last Boy Scouts podcast. We got a guest. Super stoked. I want to say it's our first guest, but it's really not our first
Not our
guest.
first guest, yeah, but our first collaboration almost, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Introduce ATC Jeremy. ATC Jeremy and I, Jeremy Ayala, we work together. We've worked together for, better part of 10 years almost. How long have you been in Salt Lake?
Yeah, 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, dude, better part of 10 years.
Yeah.
And we went to the reggae concert a couple months ago, and Tyler and Jeremy, they met there.
Yeah, it was the first time I got to meet you. So tell us your backstory, man. Where did you get started? Like, how did you get into what Danny does?
Yeah, so we're both air traffic controllers, just so you guys know.
Yeah, so for me, I started in the Air Force, well, actually just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started in the Air Force. I really didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. Was trying to do a firefighter thing, but I feel like that's something that everybody wants to do as a
Yeah,
kid. You know,
for
so it's kind of hard to
Yeah,
get
for
into.
sure. Yeah.
And I found air traffic control in the Air Force. So I did that for 7 years. I deployed to Iraq, Kuwait, and it was 7 years at the same place. So at that point, my wife and I had to look at each other and say, hey,
What you gonna do?
yeah, we're probably going to go somewhere we don't want to go if we stay in.
Yeah.
Or we can kind of try the civilian thing out. So
Yeah. And so you didn't know you were gonna be an air traffic controller when you went into the military?
no, well, not at first.
Okay.
Right. So you go to MEPS, right?
Right.
And I applied for all these jobs. They tried to have me do. They tried to have me put down maintainer on there, but I had worked on boats. Like that's what I did after high school. I'm not doing that. If you want me to put that on there,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, come back.
That's insane.
So
Yeah. It's crazy because for the frame of reference, and and a lot of our audience probably has some military background, but the way that Jeremy's career went is a little bit different than mine because I knew I was going to be an air traffic controller.
Mhm.
That was I had already figured, like, because of the guard, you have your job prior to going into.
well, mine did. Eventually, like whenever they kind of sorted out, and I was in the delayed entry program.
Okay.
So they're kind of like, hey, you can have this job.
Yeah.
Like eventually after MEPS and everything, you can have this job. We can guarantee this job, but it doesn't start for I don't know what it was, 6 months or something like that. And during that whole time, they kept calling me, hey, if you want to leave tomorrow, there's this job or that job, you know?
Oh, I
Yeah.
understand.
So I did have a job locked in.
What time of year did you go to San Antonio?
I went in January, the beginning of January,
Oh,
January
cold.
6th. Yeah,
It's cold there.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Mississippi when?
Mississippi in, it was June or July. No, that's when I got out of there. I think it was March.
Dude, June and July in
8.5
Mississippi, right?
Yeah,
That's insane in Mississippi.
hot, man.
Hot, bro.
But it's fun.
Yeah, Mississippi's cool. Mississippi's a good time. And then so you and Jen are both from California.
Yeah, both from California. I'm from Southern California, and my wife's from Northern California.
Okay.
And yeah, we both met up when I was at the Air Force
In the
base.
Air Force.
Pretty much like at a bar, right? It's kind of cliche.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was actually DDing for one of my buddies. He
Okay.
was going to Iraq, so I was like, man, I'll be your DD. And I'm just sitting at the bar. She walks up, and I just see she had her hair poofed up kind of in the front. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know why I did it, but I was just like, poof, right on top of her head. And her friend's like, did that guy just hit you?
Yeah.
I just turned around and faced the bar, you know, I was kind of bored.
Yeah.
And so she shook my shoulder. She's like, hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm Jeremy.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of where it all
That's where
kicked
it
off.
started.
It's awesome.
And so did you have, between your military service and Salt Lake Tracon, did you have any air traffic in between, or did you go
No.
military right into the FAA?
Yeah, I took about 2 weeks off,
Okay.
and then we packed up the two-wheel drive Silverado in the wintertime and headed over the Sierras. And it was pretty scary because
Yeah, for
my
sure.
wife and I are not from anywhere that snows.
Yeah.
So we came over the Sierras. There's snow on the ground. My truck got sideways. She's like, "Did you fall asleep?"
Yeah,
I
dude.
was like, "No." So we pulled off for a little bit there.
That's insane. Yeah, that's crazy to me because there's so many different ways to come to the Tracon, but the Tracon was because of the military experience, because of how the military gives you air traffic, a lot of times you are able to go into a higher level facility from the street, which would technically be an off the street, but because he
Yeah.
has military experience, it's a VA hire, a veteran hire. And so that's such a normal thing for me back then, between my time frame and your time frame, which was 10 years. It was normal to have a lot of military guys. We don't have the same thing anymore.
No.
We don't have the same kind of like background where people had military and then coming into the air traffic. What was your first thought of the Tracon?
I think when I walked in, I was kind of intimidated.
For sure.
You know, I mean, I walked down there. I think everybody thought I was a supervisor, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely intimidated, but I feel like everybody was pretty welcoming for the most part. You know what I mean? It depended really on where you were, because there's people that don't ever make a mistake in their entire life.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
and there's humble people who,
Sure.
who who will bring you in, take you under the wing, and hey, look, everybody makes mistakes, but learn from those mistakes. You know, you're really good at that.
Yeah.
You know, very patient.
I remember the first part of our relationship, I was still in my kind of grumpy stages towards developmentals. So like, because like when you're coming into air traffic, you're considered a developmental for about 2 years, and you work under somebody's ticket. So
it's a mentorship.
Yeah. So like if Jeremy plugs in and we both plug in together, then if he makes a mistake, I can overkey his frequency and
correct it.
And I was still kind of grumpy, so I don't know if we technically had like the best relationship as a developmental, because I was kind of grumpy towards people. But we had a mutual friend, Jordan Johnson, who was like a mutual friend between us, and he was my developmental, and we kind of developed a relationship after Jeremy got certified. And then once we developed a relationship, we were pretty close after that. Like we always had each other's back. And even to this day, I would consider Jeremy one of my better friends at work.
Same.
And always like has my back. Always 100% has my back. And in that career field, there's a lot of alpha personalities. You need to have somebody that will constantly and continually have your back and always stick up for you, which I think Jeremy does a really good job of. I think he has a good personality for that, and which is really cool, because you need that.
You need that, yeah.
For sure.
And you're definitely the same way.
Yeah.
Don't be lied about. You're definitely the same way.
Yeah.
But also, you call a spade, man. If somebody's messing up, you're gonna hold somebody accountable.
Yeah. Which I think I carry on into my outside life too.
Oh, definitely in the jiu-jitsu gym, right? Yeah. Like it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Kind of same process. You got to correct people.
For sure.
We had 3 white belts last night, which is kind of unique, you know.
In Nick's class.
Wow.
Usually you don't get a lot of white belts.
Yeah, and so Preston had to crack the whip a little bit, and I'm surprised Nick didn't. I think Nick was pretty jovial, but
he was happy to have people.
He was happy to have people there.
For sure.
Yeah, had to crack the whip a little bit on the white belts, just chatting it, getting chitty chatty.
Yeah, that's it. That's funny. And so talk to us a little bit about how did you come into motorcycles? Like, just so we've talked before, and I've talked about this about Jeremy, I have no frame of reference for a motorcycle. I've never been on a motorcycle, never rode a motorcycle, never even really like had the idea to jump on one, and I've lived vicariously through you guys, right? Because I have no idea.
For me, I always wanted to have a motorcycle. I grew up a really poor kid.
Yeah.
And I remember watching, I think it was a Disney movie. I don't remember if you can recall. It's called The Dirt Bike Kid.
Okay.
All right. And this kid, like, some snotty kid doesn't want his motorcycle. He's kicking it, you know, and he ends up buying it for like trading his bike for it.
Sure.
Something like that. But this bike has a mind of its own.
Okay.
Like Kirby the car. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, and I was always like, man, you know, as a kid, I really wished I could get a bike, you know, and finally, like, getting into high school, I was able to save up and got a dirt bike.
Okay.
And I loved it. But fast forward into the military, that bike is still in California somewhere in a friend's garage.
That's sick.
I came home from Iraq, and my wife had a motorcycle in the garage for me.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she surprised me with a Harley Davidson.
With a Harley?
Yeah.
Because you're a Harley guy, right? Like, yeah. That's your kind of, like, your thing.
Yeah, that's really all I ride, and bike was in the garage, and I didn't even have a motorcycle license.
Really?
Yeah. So
you have to have a motorcycle license when you're riding a bike. You have to have like
only if you get pulled over.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
But I was in the Air Force too, right? So Air Force is strict. They have a class you can take while you're in the Air Force. It's done in California anyway by the CHP.
Sure.
And once you do that class, you don't have to do any other tests. You pretty much just get your go to DMV, take the test, you have your license.
Wow.
But that's where it started from, you know. And then when we came out here, so I've always been a person that was never able to do anything by myself.
Okay.
I always had to have people to go with.
Sure.
I could never be by myself. When I came out here and I was alone, and I realized the people here, like, they don't do things together afterward.
Agreed.
So I was like, and that's where me and Jordan kind of came together as well. But kind of before that, I was like, you know what? I need to, if I'm going to, survive out here, I need to get out and go do things on my own and learn how to enjoy myself by myself.
Right.
You know, and that's where I kind of fell in love with it, you know?
And you like put a lot of time and money for sure.
Money, yes.
Yeah, into your
Money,
bikes,
yes.
right?
Well, go through the hierarchy. What was the first bike? What was the first? Do you remember what it was? Like make, model, like.
So
First Harley.
It was a Harley, but like yeah.
Yeah, so it's the one my wife got me, and that one I'm constantly restoring and keeping together.
Oh, so you still own
You still
it?
have it?
Yeah.
Still have it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's the one that's at the shop right now.
Sick.
Yeah, so that one's a 2016 Dyno Lowrider. And
Okay.
yeah, that's too many upgrades to name, but I always just kind of refresh it, you know,
Okay.
putting new chrome on it, or you know, just keeping the paint fresh by detailing it.
I mean, that's a pretty significant purchase. Like that's pretty cool of her. Wow. Like testament to your relationship
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, like that she would show up with or you know have that for you, but like that's cool on you for like keeping it and keeping it around. Like
yeah.
I mean that's cool. It's like this is something that's part of who you guys are, part of your history and part of your
Yeah.
I loved it because I love the story. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. Man.
Yeah,
She
it
like
is cool.
videotaped me coming in and everything because I was like,
Seen it.
hey, I need to go get my weapons out of the car, you know, because I was
Yeah.
supposed to take them straight to base. You know, and
Okay.
I stopped home first and stayed there for a little bit. And she's like, no, just go through the garage. I don't want the dog to go out the front. I was like, okay, you know.
That's so
And
cool.
I have a video I can send it to you.
Yeah, we need to see it,
And
dude.
it's just I was like, what the heck? Obviously, little me, right?
Sure.
yeah.
But yeah, super amazing gift, man, and it just definitely opened a lot of doors for me.
Right.
And then after that, we got this one. She said, trade in that one, the old one, and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that bike forever.
Dude.
Yeah.
But I got this bike to go on long trips with her.
Okay.
You know,
So because it's more comfortable.
more comfortable for
Okay.
long distance, cruise control, and the big old tour pack on the back to hold more stuff for you know
Oh yeah. Yeah.
her clothes and whatnot as well. So
Right.
that one's a 2023 Real Glad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one is the one that like I know I've seen the other one a bunch and I like the other one, but this thing is like showcase. When he pulled up, he said, I should have got the other side, and I don't really know what that means, but on the other side, like it is legit. It's all black. Literally all black. Everything except for a couple of bolts, it looks like, is all black on that.
We'll remedy that.
Nice, dude. But so did you have to do all the black stuff to it? Did you put
A lot of it I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it I did. I don't know if they can see from the camera, but the rotors, the shift linkage,
Dude,
a bunch of stuff on there.
so
It's
sick.
hard to name it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then also, so that big tour pack you see, that big old black thing on the back of it there, that's a tour pack. And when I bought that from Harley Davidson, they were doing some type of giveaway, right? So if you spent so many amount of dollars, they give you this many tickets to win
Okay.
a motorcycle.
Win a motorcycle.
Then they called me and I won another motorcycle. So
This guy,
Love it.
this guy, yeah, I remember like him telling me, bro, you're gonna shit your pants. I want a motorcycle. I'm thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I want a motorcycle. And then he sends me the video of them calling him. And sure as shit, this Joker wins a motorcycle. It's like a kid-sized motorcycle, though, right?
Yeah, it's very small. Like people are laughing, but it's so much fun to ride.
Yeah.
So these big guys are like 700 pounds, 900 pounds, you know, for these two. But the other one's only like 450 pounds. So it feels like a bicycle.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to ride. It's
Yeah.
so zippy.
That was my Ducati. My Ducati was
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
fully loaded was like 500.
Oh yeah.
That's all gassed up, and it
that
felt like
thing
a bicycle.
just flows in the
Yeah.
corners.
Yeah.
When there's a video of that Jeremy had posted where a guy pulls up in a badass Bronco and like says, hey, what do you think about, names the bike, and all of a sudden I was like, that's insane. Like a guy jumps out, doesn't even know you, but you guys have an instant relationship between the bikes, and he was stoked, and then eventually you found out that the guy had worked for Harley or something, shit like that, right?
Yeah. So that's what's really cool about the Harley community and just Harleys in general. When you pull up to the gas station on the Harley, people want to talk to you.
Sure.
You know, they want, nice bike, you know, where are you coming from? Where are you going?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know, the motorcycle community itself is tight, but also, you know, there's people around that they rode before, they wish they can ride, or, you know, they want to live vicariously kind of through your videos or whatever. And I think it's amazing.
That, which goes back to your point of the fact that when you first started it, you and you moved to Utah, you said you needed to find like because we don't hang out outside of work, and so like you spend a lot of time at work with these people, right? And then you don't hang out with them outside of work, so you have to find that community. Like Tyler always says, that word that he phrases, the common unity. What are we common? What do I have in common with you that will get past maybe some of the bullshit that is there, right? Or the superficial shit that we as men like tend to put up, right? And especially like a big dude like you. I would probably say that it's not like you're very approachable because you're a really big dude with like intimidating outlook, you know, like a forward, like it's like holy shit, this guy. And but getting to know you, like you have like genuine things that you're passionate about, genuine things that you can share with people. And then when you find that, what like we talk about that common unity, then it's like, okay, I can see past all the other shit, right? I can get past all that stuff. And I think that's cool. Like the motorcycle community is probably, it's got to be like vast, huh? Because there's like Harley shops.
Yeah.
And like Harley shops to me are like destination points, right? Like in my mind, like the one in Park City is like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, you know, that's kind of part of what they do, and they collect the chips from the dealerships or ride to them. And actually, that's what I'm doing on. I'm either going to leave Saturday or Sunday, but I'm riding to Kansas to go meet up with Adam Sandoval. He's a YouTube guy that does a lot of charity work for the Wounded Warrior program.
Oh yeah,
Wounded Warrior Project.
We'll put his information up just so people have it.
Yeah, so he's doing this huge ride where he's going dealership to dealership across the country, and he's going to end up in Sturgis, and he's trying to earn a set amount to donate to Wounded Warrior Project.
Oh, cool.
So,
oh wow, that's awesome. That's sick. And you're going to go drive out there.
Yeah, I'm going to meet up for part of it, not the entire convoy, but just this little part.
One thing that I know, like, that is really crazy to me is that idea of jumping on your bike and like driving 1,000 miles on your bike, like jumping on there and riding 1,000 miles, or some of those like big long. Because speak to this, like you've done some 1 day long ass jump on the bike.
1,000 miles in a day.
1,000 miles in a day.
Yeah.
Sitting on that thing for 1,000 miles in one sitting.
Yeah, you have a lot to think about. A lot of time to think about things, you know. It started, those things for my friends and I just started off as a challenge, and then last year I wanted to go to the 120th anniversary because I was part of this same convoy.
Okay.
Only went to part of it here in Utah, but I wanted to go to the end where they were going to meet up, and it was Milwaukee. I had 2 days off. You know, Milwaukee's like 1,400 miles away. So I just said,
I can do it.
I think I could do it. I think you called me because you said taking my shift, and then you called me back, hey man, you take that shift back? I was like, dude, I don't remember where I was. Somewhere in Wyoming.
God, dude, that's insane. And so when you do that and you're like you said, like you're in your thoughts the whole time, right? Like it's like it would be like running a marathon or like and then there's gonna be points where you're like, you know what? Fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore.
Dude, when you called me then I was thinking that because I had my face shield open and I got hit in the face with a bee, and I think I got like stung like on the tip of my nose. And I was like, is that like a sign? Is this stupid? This seems stupid. You know, I mean, what am I gonna do? Get there, turn around and come back? Which that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah.
I got there, spent a few hours, you know, said hi to the guys I met, and then saw the Harley Davidson Museum and came back. And good thing one of our supervisors got a hold of me because I had a request in for the next day off because I was gonna have to ride through the night right, and just go straight to work without any sleep. And he called me. He's like, "Hey man, you have the day off." So I pulled off somewhere in Nebraska, you know, and they had an Olympic badminton team like event going on. So every hotel's booked. I was like, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Yeah, how do you not know this?"
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess there's different types of athletes everywhere, right?
For sure.
So
I would consider that like an athletic feat, like driving that kind of a distance on a motorcycle. Mentally you're exhausted, right? And now you're on this two wheels that you're trying to control the whole time.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of cognitive load. What are you thinking about? Like on a long ride like that? Like what's keeping you going?
I don't know, man. I'm always jamming to music or, singing sometimes, saying stupid things, thinking about, oh, I'm going to call my bike this. And then by the time I get done riding, I'm like,
a full conversation.
Yeah. Because you really do. Like, I mean, I have a relatively small experience riding, right? I bought a bike last summer. Unfortunately, had to unload it here. My dad grew up with Harley's. Rocky Mountain Harley Davidson was the shop we'd go to as kids. And he got really friendly with Vinny, who was the shop owner, and like always had a bike. Did Sturgis several times. But like it's like you become one. You have a connection with it because you can't. You have to be present. You have to be present.
100%.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
if you disassociate, that's when shit goes bad.
Yeah, I
right?
could see that. Yeah, that's insane. I guess I wouldn't even have thought, like you said, Tyler. Like I wouldn't even have put in the idea that you can't wander too far, right? You can't drift too far.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're also like on a motorcycle, and what I love about it is, first of all, your mind is completely occupied because of, just like you said, you have to be hyper focused, right? Because you're watching out for things on the road, vehicles on the road, the weather, but also outside of the things that you're worried about, you're also taking in the smells, the sights, the wind that's blowing you. It's raining,
Sure.
Am I going to get through this storm?
Yeah.
So it's just like you're completely immersed in your environment.
Yeah, that's insane. It's got to be like a very euphoric and a very like high, and like a natural high of what you're going through, because your emotions are probably firing, every single emotion firing at like.
It's exciting.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, just like a very heavy cognitive load. A lot of problem solving.
Yeah.
Probably not too dissimilar from what you guys do on station, right? Like having to solve problems. But yeah, what's the craziest weather you've ridden in?
Bro, before we go on, this guy rode all winter.
Right.
He rode all winter. Did you remember that video of him like them sliding on the road? Like this guy like rides everywhere, bro.
Yeah, I need to stop doing that because my wheel bearings keep going out, and I think it's because the salt on the roads. It's got to be terrible for the bike. So I might just start driving during the wintertime. It's probably a smart thing. It's not very safe.
Or you just get a winter bike. That's just the bike for wintertime.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So that way all your other bikes are good,
What is the craziest?
I think definitely probably the nastiest storm I was in was coming back from Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I was coming back from Milwaukee, I saw the clouds up ahead. I saw the sign, severe weather. And so I pulled out underneath the bridge, put on my rain gear, and I think I had boot covers too, so they go over your stuff, and I think the water was like halfway up my wheel. I couldn't see out of my visor. I was following, like people were going super slow. I was just following lights blinking.
Damn.
I couldn't see anything. And there was lightning, and it was probably stupid to be on the road. But all I kept thinking to myself is, like, there's one of my OG homies from Sturgis. His saying kind of is, because we rode through a hailstorm going to Sturgis.
Okay.
And this dude didn't even have a helmet on. I'm like, what are you doing? Right. And his saying was, what am I going to do? Stop? And then what if the weather's moving the way I'm going? Then I'm going to have to be in it again. So I'm thinking about what he said. I'm like, if I stop, I'm going to have to do this again.
Yeah.
So I just keep pushing, and come out the other side and sunshine and rainbow.
That's funny. That's like buffalo mentality. Like, have you ever like studied buffalo?
Yeah, run at it.
They run into the storm because they know the best food is on the other end of that storm, so they'll run into it.
Yeah.
And while most other creatures will run away from it, they'll run right through
right at it. Yeah. And so like when that happens, do you say to yourself like, all right, I'm gonna make it to this point, or do you like, fuck it, I'm charging? Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times I'm like, you do kind of talk to yourself back and forth, right? You're like, is this stupid? Right? Should I pull off at the next gas station? Okay, I'm going to. And then you there's a next gas station. Looks like it's kind of lightening up there, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You definitely have that self battle, and I always I try to be safe. It's weird to say that after we just said I ride in the wintertime and everything like that, but I do try to be as safe as possible. I'm very connected to my bike. Things that have gone wrong with my bike, I can tell. When I take it to the shop, they're like, you sure? And they check it out, and it's always something wrong.
Yeah.
But you just have to really feel and know, your machine, because it's very, very easy to lose your life on one of those things.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a mechanical failure.
No.
Stones,
You're right.
whatever, dirt roads. Almost washed out on the way up here.
Yeah.
That was the scariest ride I've ever been on.
We were setting up, and all of a sudden it was just, brrr, and Tyler's like, "Well, I think I hear Jeremy coming down the lane," and all of a sudden, like, we see the lights coming down, and I was thinking, what a cool thing to be able to do, like, be in that moment. So now, Sturgis, I've only heard stories, right? Is it as crazy as they say?
So this is what I tell people, because people have all these different theories. They're on sport bikes. I'm not allowed to go. You know, everybody's gonna hate me. There's all these gangs, whatever. You know what I mean?
That's what I would think.
Yeah, and then on the women's side of things, they don't want you to go, right? Because they think there's basically women throwing themselves at everybody.
That's what I would think as well.
Yeah. Sturgis is whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
Right. You can have the most peaceful time in Sturgis, and you can camp away from all the chaos, and you will not see anything.
Yeah.
You know, there are clubs that have businesses in Sturgis, right?
Okay.
There are women that, you know,
Throw themselves.
No, I honestly, I haven't seen that. You know what I mean?
But you haven't been to the right clubs, maybe. Jen, kick the shit out of here. Jen, I'm just joking. Like, don't kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, but I think it's fun. Like, I thought when I first went there, I was like, I mean, my first time riding there, that was when I hadn't really gone anywhere by myself. I think that was my farthest trip.
Sure.
I go to Sturgis because I felt like it was like a rite of passage having a Harley, right?
Yeah.
So I pull up and I'm like super nervous. First of all, I'm riding through the campground. I don't know where to park, you know, and I'm like, I'm just going to park right here because you got to put your tent down next to all these people. I don't know. So I pull up, you know, and I got my head down. I get off my bike, and I swear, as soon as I got off my bike, there are people there. Hey, man, where'd you ride from? Wow, you know, like talking to me.
Yeah.
And it was that fast that you start building, like making friends, like Sturgis friends. Like every time I go there, we have like a group of 10 people, just always adding to that bunch of people each time we go. But there was zero drama. It was all fun. Drama. Yeah, everybody was super respectful. You know, everybody liked everybody's bikes. Nobody's causing any drama. I saw it like one time. Ever.
Was it a good one?
A misunderstanding.
Yeah, always is.
There was a guy on top of this humongous thing, I don't know, some huge bridge, and he cracked a beer while he was hanging over.
Okay.
And you know, sometimes they splatter a little bit.
Yeah.
Some shorter, kind of buff guy was walking underneath, and he was like, "What the heck?" And the guy was like, "Sorry." The guy down below can't hear him, so he thinks he said, "Oh, well." Yeah, he came up, and all of a sudden, I remember standing up there, and this guy's kind of walking, and I looked over, and I was like, "That's a nice chain he's got on." And he just took flight. Beat the heck out of the wrong guy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the guy that did it was standing next to the guy. Yeah.
No. But that's bad luck.
Bad luck, man. And that guy was out so fast, security didn't even know, get there by the time it happened. Really? I mean, that was the only thing I've ever seen happen.
Really?
Yeah. If people are trying to show body parts, you're gonna get kicked out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, there has to be pasties at least covering stuff. But it's not as crazy as you think it is, but it is as crazy as you want it to be.
Sure. Yeah, it's probably like a lot of things where, like you just said, like whatever experience you want to have is the experience you're going to have, for sure.
And if you're just in a crappy mood the whole time, you're not going to have a good time. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to be willing to have fun.
Right. And so, is that your funnest place to go to? Is Sturgis the funnest place to go to? Is there a better one?
What I learned from the Milwaukee trip is that I don't really like the destination. I like the ride.
Okay.
And it took me a long time.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, because going to Milwaukee too, so I would rather take the 2-lane and the scenic route and be in like stuff like this, right?
Sure.
Than to be on the interstate going straight.
Right.
Right. I'd rather take my time, have more time, and experience, stop often, meet the people in the small towns, than just get to a place and sit at a destination and get drunk all day.
That's good. That's cool.
I love the ride, and I love the people you share it with. So Blackline Speed Shop is not only a bike shop, but they're a community, right?
Right.
So we do a lot of things together, a lot of camping together and stuff like that. And every time we go somewhere, we always take the 2-lane, and we always have a blast.
That is so cool. When you talk about Milwaukee, Milwaukee is the first Harley Davidson dealership, or no?
So Milwaukee they have at the museum, they have like an old replica of like the little garage or shack that the Harley Davidson brothers used to build the bikes out of. But also it's the Harley Davidson Museum itself, and they have like all the old tanks on the wall. They have all the old bikes.
Sure.
Even they have what they think to be model number 1 there.
Oh wow.
But they don't really know, like for sure. And also, like in the basement or whatever, they have supposedly every Harley Davidson that's ever been made, like one of each model kind of thing.
One of each.
But I don't know that 100% for sure. I wasn't able to go down there. I think you got to do that ahead of time. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
But there's just racks of bikes.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Milwaukee's where the company was founded, where they started. Like that's the history with.
And the old factories there.
Okay. And they still manufacture out of Milwaukee.
Wow. So moving forward with like what you're doing now, and how we've like this whole idea of content creation and developing content and I remember our first conversation of you saying like you were going to start a YouTube channel and like the nerves and like
asking you all the questions.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
Because Tyler and I, like, we talked about that like a bunch. Like,
yeah,
we're putting ourselves out there. Like, people are going to critique. People are going to like judge. People are going to say bullshit about what we're doing. But we thought and we believe, like, we have this idea that as long as one person is stoked, one person's life is changed. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter after that. Doesn't matter. You've reached one single person and you actually like video your shit. You video, you talk, you like do these rides that I'm like, holy shit. What did you decide? Like what caused you to want to do some content?
So
be famous, the shit?
It was honestly, it started from Instagram. So like I'm always doing all these rides like you see, and it was just Instagram before that I was posting it, you know, and I'd just have people, just random followers and stuff reach out, and I don't have a lot of followers, but people just like wanted to see more, you know, that place is so cool, you know, I kind of want to see more, and to do a long form video, I would have to use, you know, a platform like YouTube.
Sure.
Never done any video editing before. The most I've ever done is like an Instagram reel. So I had my iPhone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I started. I barely just started using the computer.
Wow.
In these like last few videos.
Do you have the idea in your mind, and then do you put the idea out to other people, or is it just your ideas, just your vision on these videos? Is it just you?
It's just me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just me. I did have a subscriber ask for a review video on some handlebars, and if you watch that one, I was just so out of place on it, just because I don't know, it just didn't feel like me, didn't feel authentic, I guess. I don't know, like when I get something in the mail for my bike, I get super excited.
Yeah, I remember when you had the brake pads.
Yeah.
That video was so sick, dude.
You know, when I go on these rides, I really love it, but I also want to make sure, and what it's been hard, it's hard too, because like whenever you make a video, you have to make it watchable, right? So it can't be just you sitting at a stoplight, right? It can't be an hour long, you know, for what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah.
And there has to be kind of a story to it, I feel like.
Sure.
So since I started doing it, but I don't want to take away from the fun I'm having. This is secondary to motorcycling and the fun I'm having.
Right.
So I don't want it to get in the way of myself having fun or people that I'm with having fun.
Sure.
You know, sticking cameras in their faces or whatever. You know?
And it's slightly different than Tyler and I, because Tyler and I are like talking about just thoughts that we have, or that we've processed, or that we've helped men go through. And one of the things like I remember like talking to you about was like, who cares what, like, who cares? Like, who cares? Put yourself, do what you think is cool. Whatever you think is cool, you'll be excited about. If you, maybe the handlebars thing is like, you're just not stoked on, like, you're not stoked on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they were shitty handlebars.
The ones that are on the they're great, but they're not what I wanted.
Yeah. So you don't, like, I don't want to hurt this dude's feelings, so you don't want to say, no, these things are a piece of shit.
But I mean, I like tagged him in it or whatever, and he was like, oh, thanks for doing that. He's like, because I was like, you know, I kind of was in the video saying that I was back and forth between this, and he's like, that's exactly where I'm at. You know, so it felt good to reach out to, you know, a subscriber. So it felt good to have that kind of, you know, that kind of connection there too. That was cool. But like you said, dude, there is a lot of people out there, and just random people, who want to be negative. The good thing about platforms is the more people comment, the more visibility it gives. And it gives a chance to other people who actually, you know, genuinely want to see mountains.
Yeah.
I've had people reach out to me that have never seen mountains. So I'm in there chopping up a video that has this cool scenery because I think it's boring to watch because I live here.
Yeah.
And these people are like, wow, that's amazing. look how big those mountains are.
Yeah. Tyler and I talk about that a lot, like that we see this every day. So sometimes we get jaded in the fact that like we live here, you know, and so like we see this every day. So we're not like, sometimes we're not like stoked, but then other times we come out and we're like, dude, look what we live in, right? And so there was a comment, remember the guy didn't like you doing something like, what the comment that was on the last video, like that was the negative one that was just a couple videos ago, do you remember that? He was not happy about, oh, what the heck did you do? I can't remember exactly what it was.
Having a beer.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
and drinking and driving, and then like all these people jumped on there, and
and they kind of stood up for me,
and they start doing these things. But as a man, like you could be like, hey dude, we could figure this out together if you want to, and you could take offense to like all those things, but
exactly,
you are creating content for them to judge you anyways.
Exactly.
Right.
So you have to, if you're going to do this, you have to be willing to take the good with the bad. And I think for me, the best approach has been a positive approach.
Sure.
And for instance, there was one guy, I remember posting a video. I was really excited. My Dyna that I always have rebuilt. That's my one that my wife got me, the motorcycle my wife got me. He said, that's a really ugly bike. And I said, hey man, everybody has their opinion. What do you ride? You know, and he said the bike he rode. And I was like, oh, that's a beautiful bike, man. What do you like to like? Where do you like to ride? You know, and then it became this conversation. He's like, I took back that comment. I said, sorry about that, you know.
Right.
And it wasn't, I didn't need him to take that.
It.
Yeah, I didn't need him to do that, you know what I mean? But just because he doesn't like that bike, I don't need to take offense to it. Not everybody's gonna like everything. Yeah. That's fine.
Well, and like being stoked for another man is not normal.
No.
You're not built like to be like, man, you look good today. Man, I like your haircut. Like you say that kind of a thing, and some dude is all like, what? I didn't mean no compliment.
Yeah, that goes back to our tribal roots, right? Yes. Like we do have a tribe, right? And you just brought him into your fold. Maybe he's at arm's length, but
and maybe that's them trying to find their tribe.
Find you, right? Yeah. Like they've got to push against it a little bit to be invited in because they're not comfortable.
Sure.
Being in touch with that side of themselves.
Do you guys think that though? Do you guys think that sometimes people put that negativity out there first just to see, like,
to test the waters?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people respond from ego, right? Yeah. I think when you respond, it goes to what I would consider emotional maturity, right? Like how emotionally mature are you? If they're a comment like that is somebody that like that to me seems like a child, right? Yeah. Like why cut somebody else down? You really have to grow up. I think you're absolutely right. I think those people are just kind of big children that have never really grown up.
And also, it's so easy to be behind a computer and say some shitty comment, right?
Be some keyboard warrior. I think for sure. Yeah, I think
eating your Funyuns behind your computer.
yeah, just munching on their pork rinds or whatever. I mean, and I say that because that's my experience, right? I know when I'm like, if I'm cutting somebody else down, that's really coming from ego. Yeah. Even if I really don't like that person, even if I really don't like that person, it's 99% coming from ego.
Sure. And I just try to take this positive approach, man. And negativity really brings me down. When people are negative, I actually had somebody I was friends with, but they were just always so negative, and I had to like just space myself away from them because that just being around that. It just brings me down.
Yeah.
You know? And I hate that, though.
Well, and we can also be our own worst enemies. Like we could already be like feeling those uncomfortable feelings about ourselves, and they could be reinforcing those things, right? And you know, we personally like try to encourage men to like be stoked for each other, like to be like encouraging, like, man, you're doing this sick. I want to be a part of it. Like, how can I be a part of it? How can Tyler and I be a part of your
thanks
journey?
For bringing me here, man. This is so cool.
You know?
Setup. This is amazing.
Yeah, and so like we want that kind of stoke, and I just don't know if it's normal or like people see it as healthy, like because we have a lot of personalities at work, and people like see you doing your thing, and are they encouraging? Are they discouraging? Is it this? Does it matter to you?
I don't. Honestly, I'm having so much fun.
Dude.
I don't even care.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they'll say my YouTube name like in a way that maybe they're trying to be funny about it. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, dude.
You know, I love it. I'm having fun. I'm
Yeah.
learning a new skill. I never knew how to video edit. I'm learning a new skill, which is super fun to me, man. I felt like, you know, I kind of got to a place where, you know, especially at work, where I'm just like, you know, just in the same spot. And I want to learn something new. I want to do more. I want to experience.
Get out of that comfort zone.
Exactly. And it's hard. You know, when you guys see these really good videos that people are putting out online, your guys' videos look amazing. That's not just play the camera and send it out. That takes a lot of time and a lot of skill, a lot of effort and dedication.
Yeah.
You wish it was easier.
When you're doing when I started, I thought I was going to turn on a GoPro and put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
No.
We're lucky we have Tyler, dude. Tyler, like, is,
And we've had help from Stevie J. We've had help from you know, from our community that we've asked. We asked about lighting. We've asked about. I mean, I've met with people that other podcast hosts, and we're primarily a podcast first platform. Like the YouTube is like that's just kind of secondary to everything else we're doing.
because we want people to see our beautiful faces.
We do.
And like, no,
We do. Right. But yeah, I mean, I think that's incredibly bold to be able to just, you know, charge out there. And I encourage more people to do it. Like,
Agreed.
What an incredible world we live in where you can get microtized content of something that you're into.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
Like
so stoked on.
back in the day, it was like magazines.
Yeah.
Right. Like magazines. And then you got the web and, you know, websites are cool because they can be updated quicker, but then now you're getting like actual content.
Yeah.
Like you can get actual content from people you like.
Yeah.
You sign up. And I watch the stuff that my kids watch and I'm like sometimes so irritated by it. But at the same time, I'm like, these people have really figured it out.
Yeah.
Right. Like they figured it out. And some of it's gimmicky, right? Like there's content creators out there that are not creating from a place of authenticity. They're creating content for money. And I'm like, whatever, that's their gig. Like,
Yeah.
You know, someday maybe we'll be the Mr. Beasts of
Yeah. That's the goal, right?
the 40 plus community. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, and honestly, like that's kind of why like I was stoked to have you on here, and like Tyler and I had talked about like like really making sure that we like always like collaborate with you, because one, encouraging people to step out of their comfort zone. Two, it really doesn't matter. Like Tyler said, like it does not matter. If you are excited about it, it's going to make me excited about it. I'm going to be excited about it, right?
Right.
And because we all put ourselves out there, and because like somebody could make a shit comment, it's like whatever, man. Like it's cool. I like all of it.
Yeah, you can't let that stuff get you down, man. And hey, you know what? Thank you for the view, because him watching that video or her watching that video, it gives somebody else a chance, because it'll show it on somebody else that watches similar stuff that person does. So it'll show somebody else and give somebody else the opportunity to see something that might be helpful, and especially what you guys do. And what you guys do is saying the hard things, right?
Yeah.
Us men, we deal with a lot and we feel a lot, but we don't ever talk about it,
Right.
you know? And you guys are definitely saying the hard things. And I've shared a lot of you guys' stuff, and, you know, I've had people reach out to me, who are these guys? Who are these Lost Boys guys?
Appreciate that.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're Tyler and I always just saying like we're always just getting started, like, and we'll always have that mentality of like just learning, never like forever a white belt, forever white belts, which in our lingo means like we're never gonna be like experts at anything, but we'll always learn and we'll always grow and we'll always like find ability to move forward and find progress, right? And as men, that's where men get stuck.
Yeah.
That forward progress is where a man gets into his own head, gets into his own self. He starts to look at porn, starts to look at other women, look at other things that are gonna give him that dopamine dump of quick fix, followed by shit. I feel like shit still. I still feel like shit. Why do I feel like shit still?
Yeah.
And I think that's what like.
That's not clarity.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I think you can. I mean, we've covered boys and sex twice. We've covered. I mean, yeah, I think it's true. Like, right? You need like in today's corporate world, right? It's so much more difficult to climb the ladder. There's so many different, you know, people vying for so many fewer positions, right? Like, I always used to get really frustrated when my ex would be like, well, just manifest more money. And I'm like, you're just like make more money.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's all I've got to do is
It's just that simple.
just make more money, right? Just make more money. Okay. Thanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you know, you get creative with it, and you can, you know, eventually, like this for me now, this is not about money. This isn't about monetarily, you know, making money. It's about sharing a message and what that message actually means, like getting men to like consider who they are, what they're doing, to man in, to have the hard questions, to raise the next generation of sons.
Sure.
Where we can get rid and we can get past this Me Too bullshit. Like, you know, and like not all men are toxic masculine.
Agreed.
Not all men are like raging testosterone driven like monsters, right?
Agreed.
I've yet to meet somebody that I would say is on a toxic masculinity like scale. It's definitely a scale. And to me, when I see it, I see toxic masculinity the same as I see feminism, right? It's just two sides of the same coin. It's really just toxic individualism, which ultimately comes from your ego.
Agreed.
Right? I need to protect myself. Whatever I identify as, I have to protect that. And when I can let go of that ego, then I can recognize the opposite and embrace the opposite and enjoy the opposite, whatever it is.
Oh man, that's deep, Tyler. That's deep. It is. It really, really is. It really is. You know, something inside of you that's causing those feelings. That's getting in the way of like finding the beauty. I'll go back to last episode, and the peanut butter falcon reference of
Right.
Are we gonna die?
Yeah.
Are we gonna die?
Of course we are.
Of course we are.
Of course we are.
But are they gonna tell killer fucking
And
stories?
they have great
about
stories.
us?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Right? You want them to have stories, and you want to leave a legacy, and you know, you want to give that to your children, your sons, right?
Agreed. And to other men.
Right? Other men.
Because other men are going to struggle with those things, and like because of like the confidence and the ability that we all have as men, like do we see ourselves who we really are, and we're comfortable with who we are.
Right.
We know we're working on things. We know that we're struggling on things. And we're pushing each other to be better, right? So we're building these things. But other men may not have that same quorum or forum where you can be like, dude, I'm so excited for you.
No,
and genuinely mean that to another man.
Right.
Genuinely, dude, you look good today.
Yeah.
And genuinely mean that to another dude and not be like taken as weird for saying that kind of shit.
Right.
So kudos, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we're really stoked for you and
Appreciate it.
What you got? So right now, like we were talking about this during the break, but man, Tyler is going through a fast right now.
Yeah.
And I am so stoked for him about it because we were talking about it because I fasted and I've cut weight. Tyler's fasted and cut weight for fighting.
Yeah.
And have you ever done any of that fasting stuff? Like, have you ever done anything like that?
I did with the chicken broth.
Okay.
Bone broth.
Okay.
Anyway, he's doing the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, this dude is insane.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the chicken broth. Like, to be honest, if I don't break my fast tomorrow and I decide, I made it 3 days, let's do 4 or 5.
What hour are you on right now?
I'm on 43 hours.
Wow.
I'm 44 hours.
So sick.
Yeah.
What a testament to your mental fortitude, right? Which I think is what pushes you, right?
To me, I needed to, like, I just kind of have felt in the funk lately. Like,
Take control.
yeah, not like one kind of working from home. Like, working from home is like terrible for me. I feel so isolated. I mean, I basically wait to go to jujitsu, or I wait to like I have something to do, right? And so I'm like, I noticed my relationship with food like changing. Like, I'm eating to like get a dopamine hit or something. Right. And so I was just like, I need to get back to me and like change my relationship with food.
Sure. When you were lifting heavy, Jeremy, did you have to did you have some of that yo-yo stuff of eating a lot, not eating a lot, eating a lot, not eating a lot?
Definitely. Always trying to find like what balance of macronutrients worked for my body.
Wow.
You know, especially when I was getting really big. But then whenever you start lifting weights, there's a saying, it's like you become forever small. Right?
Because you see yourself like not big enough.
You never see the size you are, right? Unless obviously you're next to somebody else, but you're always only looking at yourself.
Sure.
So you just see the same person. Right?
We say the same thing in jiu-jitsu. You can't see your own progress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so you're always, you know, you start trying to get more size, you're too fat. Start trying to lean out, too skinny. You know, and you just it's like this constant cycle. That's how I felt anyway when I was in, until I got injured.
Yeah, and then not so much lifting anymore.
Not so much. Or if I do, I don't push myself.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was like a realization for myself. Like, all right, man, you're over 30. You need to kick back.
That's yeah.
Back's hurting, knees are hurting, ripping muscles.
Well, honestly, like I was stoked on Tyler. Like Tyler told us that a little bit while we were on break, and big shout out to what you're doing, Tyler, because it encourages me and it encourages men to like always to push yourself to those limits, to find what is the next limit, because there's always going to be a limit that you're gonna have to push yourself past and find things that will motivate you to do those hard things, because doing a hard thing is doing that stuff is going to only make you better in the long run, right?
Yeah, and to me, this this connection back to myself as I'm, you know, kind of going through food, not without food, and meditating a lot, and like just kind of sitting, you know, at the same time I've like tried to turn off my device. I've tried to like not watch TV. It's shown me some other things, like it's illuminated some other things where I'm like, okay, cool. As soon as I conclude this fast, I now have direct insight onto what I want to do, where I want to go next, what I want to be doing next. Right. It's just been interesting.
Yeah, fasting and cutting weight is such a mind monster.
Hey, your body's just telling you. Your mind's telling you.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really, really hard, and it definitely teaches you a lot about yourself. So man, stoked for you for doing that. Honestly,
the problem is we haven't been in the sauna lately.
I know, dude.
It's been weeks since we've had a good sauna session,
for sure. And we lost our sauna spot, and haven't found the quite recovery of it. But yeah, saunaing is definitely needs to be back on our radar for sure.
And that was a huge part of my routine, and definitely like helped with my mental health, just hitting that hot, like pushing yourself in that hot and that heat.
For sure.
When you guys go in there together? Mm-hmm. And you guys have good conversations, like strong. Do you feel like the conversations are deeper when you guys are both going through that stress?
This whole thing developed in a sauna.
And started in the sauna.
There you go. And like our friendship and the need for our friendship developed in the sauna, for sure.
We've had some serious conversations in the sauna, though. Like, I think the sauna is a bit of a sacred spot.
So I'm currently in talks with a person to do a sweat lodge ceremony for men and to bring people into a sweat lodge. And I've only heard stories of sweat lodge, but it's sauna times a million. Sauna times a million, because you will break, you will falter, you will need each other, you will depend on each other, you will need people there to get you through what you go through. Jeez. Because a sweat lodge is like cooking yourself, and and you start to hallucinate, you start to have some things that happen, and you need people to get you through it. So there's people in there that will get you through what you're going through, and that's like, it's legit. And I've heard about it, and there's a guy in Heber that I've heard about, and I know somebody that knows him, and today we talked, and I said,
hey, let's do it.
I want to get with them.
I want to do it,
and I want to get some guys that I think would be like stoked on it, and you're one of those guys, Jeremy, that I wanted you to come.
They do that at Heroes and Horses. A big portion of I sat next to the guy when I went to that event last October. They do that at part of the Heroes and Horses, specifically Sweat Lodge, right?
So sick.
And it's that tradition of sauna has been around
for a while.
It's regardless of kind of what community you've come from. Like Finnish, it's sauna. In Russia,
Native America,
it's Sweat Lodge. Like in Greece, it's a Roman bath, a Russian bath. Like it's pretty like it's around. It's like not like it's universal. It's not like a one-time thing. So to me, that symbolizes something. There's something symbolic behind that.
Yeah,
we gotta
So
Right.
what's coming up in the next in the next couple of weeks? What you got? You got Kansas City.
Yeah, so Kansas City, and then maybe Milwaukee again. I don't know. I have tickets for it, and I might try to find a way to give those away.
Oh,
But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to that. Anyways, after that, my wife and I are riding to Canada.
I know.
Yeah, so we're
You
gonna
doing Banff?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
On the bike?
on the bike.
No way.
Yeah. So
What's the mileage from here to that you guys will do?
I don't even remember honestly.
Over 1,000.
Oh, total. Yeah, it'll be over 1,000, but not in one spot, especially because I have her on the bike.
Okay.
So we'll do a lot shorter. I think the longest stint we're going to do is we're going to go from here to Whitefish.
Oh.
So that'll be the first day just to get the big part out of the way. And then after that, it's just going to be short days, you know?
Dude, that's a solid 12 or 14-hour day.
Yeah.
To Whitefish.
To Whitefish.
Yeah, to Whitefish. Yeah. To Whitefish is a legit ride, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've even thought I might leave the day before and just get a few hours down the road.
Sure.
You know, because I just don't want to put her through it.
Yeah.
But I want her to enjoy the experience.
Sure.
If we're just muscling through miles, she's not going to enjoy the experience.
And
she's going to be, she's not going to be having fun.
And you told me today, no Sturgis, because then you guys are going to Banff and all that.
Yeah. So no Sturgis this year. It's like the first year I haven't gone since Harlow died, my dog. So yeah, not doing Sturgis because this trip is during the time that Sturgis will be happening. So there's Canada, and then after Canada is Four Corners Motorcycle Rally. And I love that place, man. The $1 Million Highway is amazing. From
Yeah.
Gray to,
So sick, dude.
you know,
Down through
about that. I think we
Silvertown.
talked about that.
Yeah,
a lot.
this guy.
My grandparents live down in Durango.
Really,
Yeah.
it's an amazing. I love that main street.
Yeah, dude.
The Durango Diner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
We used to grow up down there. We grew up going down there
Yeah.
for
Durango is
holidays.
sick. Durango is on my list of places where we
Short
may
list.
end up.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Durango is on our list of places where we may end up. Cool, man. Well, we are 1 week away from summer camp. Just over 10 days. Sorry, 10 days from summer camp. And it is coming together. It's coming together. It's going to be a fun time. We have fights on Friday. Lots of instruction on Saturday. Lots of instruction on Sunday. And then I leave to Montana for 10 days. Misty and I doing the same thing.
Ooh.
We're riding in this. We're taking our bus to Montana for 10 days. Yeah, we're excited. We're nervous. We're like, Misty was like, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." But it's gonna put some like fear into me, and I think that I need that. I think I need the fear, the risk, the challenge of driving in this thing. Like you said, we only can go for 50 miles an hour, so we're taking back roads.
So you're gonna be going up Beartooth Pass?
Yeah. So on the way back, we are going to try to hit that Beartooth Pass. We're going to go up the Gallatin on the first day. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. We're stoked. What do you got going on, Tyler?
Man, summer camp. A few more weeks of summer with the kids. I think I'm going to take my kids out to Reno, Tahoe, and the
Nice. That was amazing.
yeah, in the Bronco. We got the rooftop tent on. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna kind of play it by ear. And I got a hotel room for camp. So
You did?
Yeah.
Sick. From V?
I didn't get V's because I didn't want the suite. Plus, we're only doing it Friday night.
Oh, you're taking the kids?
I'm taking the kids so they can come hang out the pool. They want to see the super fights.
Yeah.
So I'll get them into the super fights and yeah, let them kind of just run feral kids summer up in Park City.
We're staying up there as well, so we'll be up there on Friday and Saturday. But cool, man. Well, Jeremy, honestly, grateful for your friendship. We're grateful. Tyler and I were grateful for what you've done for us and how you've encouraged Tyler and I and been there for us. We've been there along your journey, and so I feel like you've been there along our journey, and we're excited that we were able to finally get you up here and on the podcast.
No, I really appreciate it, man. And thanks, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Keep saying the hard things to say.
Thank you.
Right? And being vulnerable. You know what I'm trying to say.
We know we got you.
Especially, the episode that you talked about your brother. Dang, bro, look at that. Just talking about that right now, I just got the chills.
Yeah.
It's really hard to talk about these things, and you guys, when you guys put it out there, I think it makes it easier for everybody else that's watching. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Cool, man. Well, cheers, everybody. We'll see you guys on the flip side. And Sundays, Park City, open mat. You guys want to come and see what we're all about? Check out Jeremy at
ATC Jeremy rides on YouTube.
Anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Black Line Speed Shop.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna say for sure. Black Line Speed Shop. We like we're stoked on those guys too. Hopefully, we'll do some collaboration with those guys eventually. And yeah, cheers. We're signing off.
Yeah, we're
Take
done.
care, guys.
See ya.
Rise up, no turning back.